one catering party worth $1 million, I'm going to share with you exactly how I landed that contract. Hey, Michael Thibault here, recovering restaurant owner and caterer turned author, speaker, coach, owner of DFY Marketing Systems, getting you more new customers for your restaurant and getting your existing customers to come back and spend more money. So I'm going to talk to you today about one of the biggest monumental changes in my restaurant business life that allowed me to do many things, including teaching thousands of restaurant owners how to do the exact same thing in their own restaurant, which is develop a highly profitable catering business. So what I'm talking about is I am known as the $1 Million Caterer because I had one catering job. Actually, I had it for several years, and that was one of the reasons why the person that bought my catering company and restaurants wanted that contract. So I'm going to tell you exactly how I landed it, what the technique was, and you're going to go, that was so simple, right? And inexpensive. It just takes a little bit of that four-letter word that we're all afraid of, work. But I know you're not afraid of it if you're a restaurant owner, right? And especially if you're a restaurant owner and a caterer. So this technique works for really any area of your restaurant that you want to increase business for. It's an old school technique, but it works really well. And I love it because it's like free, right? So I'm going to explain to you how I did that, but I'm going to give you a little background first. So when I landed the $1 Million Catering contract, which was for Chrysler, by the way, back then, the late 90s, early 2000s, they were called Chrysler, right? Daimler Chrysler. They were bought out by a German company, and I'm in Detroit. So we have the International Detroit Auto Show, and it was in January, which is like the biggest thing that happens in downtown Detroit. It was a massive, week-long celebration for the press. And then on Friday night, we had a black tie affair, which was great and brought in all different types of celebrities to the area. And then the auto show opened up for the general public. So the week before was for, a lot of the corporate execs, different celebrities, dignitaries, but it's mainly for the press to get, the press to write great things about your automobiles. And they still do this today. So I had two restaurants, one that was in a very suburban area and one that was more, and they were completely on the opposite sides of town, like, 30 miles from each other, right? Which makes it a little difficult when you're trying to manage multiple locations. But it worked because we had great systems. So one of them was in a very high-end area with lots of retail and also businesses and corporate offices. And the reason I opened that restaurant was to expand my catering business, which really is something I don't recommend. You don't want to open a restaurant to expand another business because that restaurant has to be able to operate on its own and to be able to support itself and at least break even, right? Which we did. It was a phenomenal concept. I didn't have a liquor license, so we made our money out the back door and also for lunch and carry out for dinners. We closed at 9 o'clock because we didn't have a liquor license. There was no bar. But, we were doing, thousands of dollars in sales for lunch and also for dinner for carryout. We were closed on Sundays. So it really lent itself to developing that catering business, and that's the way I structured it. So how did I get this $1 Million Catering party for Chrysler? Well, the party was for the week before the auto show opened up for the general public, right? So we would cater for all the Chrysler executives, the celebrities that they brought in, and for the press. It was really for the press. So it was 1,000 people a day, and we would feed them, and it was a la carte. It was actually off a menu, and it was in downtown Detroit at the Detroit Firehouse #1, which housed the executive offices and the upper levels of the building, and it was really no longer a working firehouse. But it was really cool because it was the first firehouse in Detroit and had the big doors that opened up when they were horse-drawn fire engines, right? So we actually built this upscale pub for the press, and it was right across from where the auto show was, Cobo Hall, and the press would come over, and they were invited by Chrysler, hang out, have something to drink and something to eat, and write great things, mingle with the Chrysler corporate executives. It was awesome. So we fed 1,000 people for 1 week, and it all accumulated to we were working towards the black tie affair on Friday night. So it was great. It was an awesome party. It was worth $1 million in sales to me. So how did I get that? That's really what you want to know, right? Okay, funny thing. So I opened that restaurant in the high-end, high retail district to expand my catering. So I knew there was a lot of catering opportunities and a lot of catering potential around me. So how did I reach that geographic market? Now you got to remember, this is back in the late 90s before the explosion of the internet and obviously Google. Nobody knew what Google was. We had the yellow pages, right? We had newspapers, a lot of print, and word of mouth and face-to-face. And I still recommend this to my restaurants that do catering now. It's a great way to get out in the community and, to expose your catering business to people that might not know you cater. So what I used to do is, real quick, I'll sum it up. I had a chef at that restaurant. He was a sous chef, assistant chef, and he was going to school at night, working towards, I believe it was a business degree. And during the day, he, cooked on the line lunches at that particular restaurant. It's a really, really sharp kid. Had no problem talking to people, presented himself very well. So what I did was I had him go out during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, stop at the different businesses, find out who handled the catering, qualify them, and then on Fridays we'd bring him free deli trays and cookie trays, or whatnot, with a bunch of printed marketing material and some incentives. Well, he stumbled upon the party planning office that handled all the staging and all the displays for Chrysler at the auto show, and they were he was talking to the person about how they were developing this party, and if we did any types of catering. So it was a face-to-face meeting, just getting out into the local area, meeting and greeting people, shaking hands. Obviously, I took it from there because I realized the potential of what this was. I had no idea it would turn into such a huge, massive event. Every year, I had that contract. I used to sign 3-4 year contracts with them, and it was just an unbelievable amount of work. But it was so much fun, and it really put me on the map as a caterer in the Detroit Tri-County area. So that all went about simply by getting out in the public, meeting and greeting, and giving some free samples and developing that goodwill. And you can do that, with your own restaurant. You can do that with your own business, charity events, community local events. Get out there, meet and greet the public. You'll never know who you're going to run across or, the opportunities that are going to fall into your lap simply by getting out in the public, meeting and greeting those people, but also following up with them. That is a huge thing. Obviously, we had a system in place to follow up with them, which worked really, really well. And I like to keep these videos short, so I'm not going to get into all those details. But if you are interested in learning all my techniques, get all my marketing, all my ads, all my social media, everything I use to create a multi-million-dollar, one of the largest catering businesses in the state of Michigan, I'm doing a master class January 9th. And there's a button, should be down here somewhere, that you can click on. You can sign up for it. And right now we're running for the holidays a $200 off that class promotion. And if you do sign up, we're limiting it to 100 seats because we want it to be, kind of intimate. And, we want to be able to interact so you can ask questions live. We also are going to give you the recordings and all the downloads, for all the marketing information, all the operational menus. I got all kinds of stuff that we're compiling together. I haven't done this before. It's a lot of work. I don't plan on doing them too many more in the future. So if you're interested in developing a high-profit catering business, or you have a catering business right now, you want to take it to the next level, sign up for my class. We're going to have a ton of fun. You're going to get huge value for this. And again, if you sign up now, you'll get that $200 off the class. Hope to see you then. We're going to have a lot of fun. And don't forget, add high profit catering to your restaurant business. It'll explode your sales in 2024.